The No Fate channel.
Checking in.
And on this episode of Dad's Home Gym, I am talking about how to keep the air quality in your home gym shipshape and top notch. And if you can't tell, it is cold outside. It is winter time. And oftentimes with regards to winter, your home is locked down. Whether you have your gym in your garage or your basement or in your home, the windows are shut and fresh air is few and far between in terms of nice warm days to open up the garage or the windows. If this is your first time to the channel, hit that subscribe button down below. On this Dad's Home Gym series, I typically review a piece of home gym equipment, but I also like to have discussions about how to make your home gym experience better. And that's what we're doing today. We're talking about air quality because the reality is, unfortunately, usually in local gyms, one of our biggest complaints is that the air quality, the air circulation isn't that good. And the same goes for your home gym. You don't want to be breathing in stale air or air that just is kind of funky. So in the summertime, it is easy to get fresh air in your home. You either throw on a bunch of fans, you lift the windows up, so on and so forth. But in the wintertime, unfortunately, everything is locked down. And here in New England, stuff is shut. The windows don't get open probably between the middle of November and probably late March, if I'm being honest. So a few things that I like to do to keep the air in my basement as fresh as possible. Number one is to promote circulation if and whenever possible. Now you can see the best way that I promote circulation is with this big massive fan behind me, this big Bertha. Unfortunately, in the wintertime, the last thing I want in this cold basement, especially in these early morning workouts, is to run that fan and create a whole bunch of more cold air blowing on you. Now in the wintertime, it is cold here when I work out in the morning, and I'm sure in your home gyms, for the most part, it's probably cold, especially if you're in your garage. I will use a space heater. This is a small space heater, especially for the space that I have to heat up. So I actually use two of these budget space heaters rather than getting one good space heater. The reason being is I will put both of them on. I will spread them, one in this corner of the basement, one in the opposite corner, and I put them on oscillate. And the idea is that they heat up the basement and they're moving that air around so you're not getting stale air. You're not getting pockets or corners of your home gym that just have stagnant air. Also, what I will use when I am not in the basement after I've worked out, or even whenever I think of it but I'm not in the basement, is I will use what is off camera. And this is a dehumidifier. Now, a lot of people will use dehumidifiers in the summertime because your basement has high humidity, or even your garage, the humidity is high. You don't want your equipment to rust. And frankly, you want to keep the humidity level down to prevent bacteria and just junk building up on your beautiful equipment. I still use this in the wintertime, even though it is very, very dry in this basement in the wintertime. Reason being is it does circulate the air, it pulls the air in, it dehumidifies it, and then it shoots it out. So it does circulate the air, but also you're working out in the basement. You are creating a lot of moisture in your breathing and your sweating. And frankly, even though the humidity level itself might be low, you still kind of want to make sure that you're not getting any funk building up on your floor or your gym equipment. So I typically, when I run this, when I'm not in the basement, I'll put this on like a 2 or 4 hour timer, and I'll actually put this thing in this section of my gym, which probably gets the most use and has the most sweat going on here. And I will run that when I'm not around, just because it just essentially makes the air colder as it's blowing the cold air, very similar to the issue with the fan here in the background. I've got one more item to review, and then I'm gonna actually give you an honorable mention, a dad trick that I do that I think many people do happen to overlook. But this item, this is a HiMOX air filter that I picked up, I should say air purifier. There's a whole bunch of them online. I'll put the link to this one in the description, and I'll put the price point up here. It's on Amazon. There's a million of them on Amazon, but I have used this one for over a month, and I have liked it for a few reasons. There's a lot of options on here. So it's very simple to use. You put that button and you are on and purifying. One of the nice things besides the cool colors here is the fact that it is very, very whisper quiet. So I have this on low. It's got high and it has auto, and it's also got sleep mode. So this, if you ever were to put this in a bedroom or an office and you want it super, super quiet, you could use sleep mode, but I don't necessarily use that often. I typically keep it on low. One of the nice things is that it does have a timer to it. So if you're like me and you will either set this up before you start working out, or even maybe when you finish working out, you can put that timer on for 1 hour, 2 hours, 4 hours. or you can just do whatever you want that works for you. Personally, in terms of how I've been using it, I typically will put this on prior to my workouts, or if I forget, which is most likely the case, I'll actually use this during my workouts. I just put it on, put it near where I'm working out, and put it on the floor, set it and forget it, and it's so quiet, it is nice. And how does it purify the air? It has a filter on the inside. It pulls air in through that filter, shoots air out. How has the air quality improved now that I got like an air purifier? I couldn't tell you in terms of parts per million on, how well the air quality is doing. I will say the basement gym smells cleaner. And I know that sounds weird to say it smells cleaner, but you know what I'm talking about. For those of you who have a garage gym, some of you are working out next to your lawn fertilizer or your pesticide. And for those of you who have a basement gym, you're working out next to your furnace, you're working out next to like cans of sugar and stuff. It's a basement, right? You get to kind of get that musty buildup. Even with running a dehumidifier, it's really hard to keep a basement smelling clean, okay, for lack of a better term. I will say when I run this thing in my basement for up to 2 hours, I usually never let it just run continuously. I usually use a 2-hour timer, so that way if I forget to shut it off, it shuts itself off. The basement itself over the past month has just smelled better. It just smells fresh, like clean air. And again, it's like a fugazi term to tell you that the air smells cleaner. It's just something that I've noticed. Listen, it's just my personal experience using this air filter. It's something that I think is good for a home gym environment, especially if you've got an enclosed space. If you have a garage gym that has a bigger or more open space, it might not work as well for you because it's harder you don't have as much contained air because you might have a massive space, or it might just be an open garage where it's not necessarily insulated or closed down. And the last and final tip that I can suggest, and this is one that is really more of a opportunity situation rather than something that you can do on a consistent basis, is to open up your windows and doors, whether you're at home or in a garage, whatever. Every once in a while during the wintertime, you know what I'm talking about, you get those freakishly warm days. It doesn't have to be in the 70s, but every once in a while here in New England, we get this weird day where it hits like 50 when the rest of the week it was, 20 or 30 degrees. On those days where it hits 50, I would highly recommend opening up the doors to your garage or your home gym just to get fresh air in. Even though it's going to be cold air and you're eventually going to have to close those windows and run the heater to get your space warmed up, still, it's worth it. It's worth the price. It's worth the headache to just, hey, recognize that it's a warmer day than usual and get fresh air in. Can't tell you enough. It's so important to have a good home gym environment that feels good, feels comfortable, smells good, and just tells you that it's clean, right? And we know what nasty gyms are like when you've got no air circulation, you've got people working out, and you just can feel the air's thickness. You can feel like the nastiness and grossness in the air. You don't want that happening in your home gym. And frankly, that's probably part of the reason you got a home gym, is to have a clean environment. And that is one thing that we often overlook, is the air quality, because you don't see it. Sometimes you don't see it. You don't even smell it. If you've been working out in your own home gym for a while, you can't tell it smells like must or it has like some funk to it. If you've come this far in the video, drop any questions you have regarding your home gyms in the comments below, and we can have a back and forth discussion to hopefully help you in whatever situation you're working with. Also, if you've come this far, do me a huge favor, give this video a like and hit that subscribe button. It helps me out and it doesn't cost you anything. As usual, thank you for watching, and don't save anything for the trip back. The No Fate 24/7 channel may seem like a potpourri of review videos, but I simply cover my tricks, trips, and tribulations as I help you be great parents to your kids and still accomplish your own personal goals.